our guests on this Community Spotlight podcast this morning, I've got the Ritzhaupts. How do you like that today?
I like that.
You like that? We'll start it off this way. I have Steve, which is where I'm pointing right here with my hand for those of you that are watching on YouTube. It'd be to my left. And Sean, which is over to my right. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Okay, I'm glad to have you on. And they represent Edward Jones,
Correct.
which is an investment firm located actually in St. Louis, Missouri. We talked a little bit before. I'm very familiar with this profession, and today I just want to, first of all, I want to congratulate you all on the expansion of your business, okay? And with expansion means sometimes you can't get everybody in the same building, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we were running out of space. Good problem to have.
Okay, so you've run out of space, and so you actually have two offices now in Bucyrus, correct?
Correct.
Absolutely.
All right. Yep. The reason I'm saying this is because sometimes if you got two people and one's in one office and another one's in another office, they go, there must be a problem here. Guess what, folks? Let's not stir things. There's not a problem.
Yeah.
You folks just got two separate offices located in Bucyrus.
Yep.
Is that fair, a statement?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started here about 24 years ago now, in June of 2000. And thanks to the community and our clients for the support that they've given us, our business has grown. My brother Steve's been with Edward Jones for, since the late 90s, but in St. Louis. So 7 years ago, he wanted to come back and be an advisor, and it's worked out great thanks to the community. And I built my office, my building.
Okay.
So we got to the point where 5 of us was in one spot.
Not real good.
Yeah, it just gets somewhat crowded, and there wasn't real estate in Bucyrus. We felt like we could buy and all move together. So we just had a conversation with each other and decided to just, get in different locations. And what I was saying earlier to you before we started the podcast, actually, Edward Jones, this is kind of the model.
Yes, it is.
If you go to like Tiffin or other smaller towns in Ohio, you'll see sometimes 3 or 4 offices.
Yeah, multiple offices in the same town.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
And I always add to that, we were sharing a space. We weren't sharing a bit, like we weren't in business together. Jones is very, I'd say, particular about you have your own business, you build your own business, and then it was just a matter of sharing office space.
What we used to say back in the olden days when I was in this same business was everybody has their own book.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
And that's what this comes down to. You have your own clients, you have your own clients.
Perfect.
All right, and I think that's probably a fair assessment of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, why don't we just give where both of you are located so that everybody knows who's whom and where you're at so that there's no confusion here.
Well, since
We'll start with-
I'm
yes.
the new office, I think there was some coverage on a ribbon cutting.
Yes,
I'm
Steve.
at 127 South Sandusky, right beside First Federal now. So I moved just a block, not even a full block, south of the square is where my location is.
All right, Sean?
Sure, and I'm at 215 North Sandusky Avenue. I always like to say I got lucky they put the Lady Liberty mural on the wall of my building. I'm right beside the used to be Daily Mark's Ice Cream now.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay, so we've got 2 locations. You both are with Edward Jones. You both, I always say, have your own book. You have your own clients.
Correct.
And I will just say you both love each other.
Yeah. Being brothers, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There is no problem between Steve and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to, the reason I bring this up is because in a small town, as you all know, if something's a little out of what some people might think is out of the ordinary, they think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say, fellas? This industry has dramatically changed in the last 50 years, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What would you say now? What are the options in this business as far as investing? As far as, can you go fee-based, or how does this work nowadays?
Yeah, and I think this is where Edward Jones has kept an advantage over others, is we have a pamphlet or brochures we go through and we explain the options, but we still have the traditional commission-based.
Okay.
And in many cases, long-term buy and hold, cash, CDs, things like that, you don't need to be in a fee-based business where you're getting charged a fee every month. In a more managed type atmosphere, Jones does have fee-based accounts too.
Right.
So really, it's what's best for the clients. What have they been more comfortable with? There's lots of arguments out there which is best either way, but I just like that Edward Jones hasn't gone all one way or another. They've really have developed that balance in letting us run our business how we see is best for each individual client. So
You bring up a very good point. Goals and objectives. And each client has their own goals and objectives. Maybe it's retirement. Maybe it's saving for someone's education, children or their grandchild's education. Maybe it's, like you brought up, municipal bonds. Maybe somebody has some tax issues and they could really like to have the income of something like a municipal bond. So there's a lot of options over various things.
Yep.
What's for people, that's investing, and I used to have this happen to me quite a bit, and I'm sure you guys do too, is when they come in, they'd say, well, how much is enough money to start? My always thing I would tell them is just start. What's you guys'
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
we were, and that's I think that goes back to your first point with the flexibility of Jones and having fee-based versus non-fee-based.
Right.
Starting early, starting young, and that's what, like Sean said, this business has become more about advising rather than just calling and recommending investments. You're sitting down and getting to know the people and how they want to invest, what their goals are. I enjoy, and that's what I enjoy most about the job in the last 7 years. He's got a lot more years of experience. I probably wouldn't have enjoyed the job as much 20 years ago. But sitting down with people, getting them started, hey, $50 a month, let's sit down and what's your budget look like? Do you have a budget? Are you participating in your company's 401k? Make sure you're at least getting that match, So there's lots of strategies to just sit down with anybody who's just starting and say, where are we at today? And there's been cases where people have come in and sat down and they don't open an account with me, but I know that they've started their 401k or they've started, and I, the idea is they'll be back someday. Then they know that I helped them.
Yeah.
They didn't need to do an account. They didn't need to do business with me, but just the helping people and guiding them to get started.
Well, this is a relationship business. And you're going to, if your goal is to go in there and, make a lot of money, that is not a really good thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Nobody works for free. I understand
I
that.
have 3 kids.
Yes,
have to-
they need shoes. We
All in
understand
college.
this, or college, or other things. But I'm just saying that it all starts with a relationship. You have to feel comfortable with with whom you're working with.
Yeah.
Goals and objectives. What is the objective? A lot of times, and you're talking about way back in the olden days, they just say, "Hey guys, this is what we got to sell product." And I was with a totally different. They'd say, "This is we expect you guys to sell this product." We've come a long way from that, and I think for the better.
Absolutely.
There was just so many things that was so much different in that day and era, but I think that's good. Anything you guys would like to add this morning while I got you on here that maybe I didn't bring up this morning?
I don't think so. I appreciate your time and bringing us in. And we just kind of wanted to explain what was going on with Edward Jones in town. And again, thank the community for supporting us back. It's been good, and we hope to continue to help folks with whatever their needs may be. So.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. It's been, my wife's a St. Louisan. I lived in St. Louis for many years, grew up here, and approached Sean about moving back here and working alongside him. And it's just been a huge blessing to my family and stuff, and being closer to family and being around here. And the community's been great. My wife, being a St. Louisan, and I would call her a city girl, Bucyrus has just been outstanding to her and stuff. So, it's been a great transition, and glad to be back home.
Well, I want to thank both of you for being on here today. I just, again, when I'd heard when you had 2 separate offices, and like you could, I'm going to leave it on this note. Everything is just happy here.
Oh yeah.
You fellas get along well together, but you have separate offices. That is not uncommon, and I will repeat that. In Edward Jones is a investment firm to have people to have separate offices. And again, I thought one of you, and I believe it was Steve, I'm not sure, it's hard sometimes to get a real estate in a small town that can fit all these people in there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that's involved with this that the public really wouldn't understand unless you've been in this business. I have some idea of what that would be. So again, I want to thank my guests this morning on the podcast from Edward Jones, Steve Ritzhaupt, and Sean Ritzhaupt. Thank you for being here. Hope to have you back sometime. We'll talk about something else other than how to get along, which we all get along here. So thank you. It was never an issue. Thank you much.